Hello to everyone in the Erie region. I want to start this State of the City update with 3 quick thank yous. First, thanks to Tom New and WQLN for having me back to present this year's State of the City address. Second, thanks to my family, especially my wife Rhonda and my children Jamie, Jody, and Joe. They have been very patient with my very busy schedule, and they also help me with things like this speech and social media posts. Third, thanks to the leadership and the hard work that has been done every day at City Hall. I'm blessed with an incredible and very diverse mayor's office staff led by Renee Lamus. I've never worked with anyone who works as hard or cares as much as Renee does. The planning work that Kathy Rosdick, with the help of Aaron Carey, is doing will transform our city. More on that later. Michael Outlaw and Nikan Astari Carpenter are making huge strides towards eliminating racism and prejudice in Erie. Aaron Lonke and Frank Stramella are organizing incredible events, establishing a strong social media presence, and creating a community calendar. Margie Bruce does an incredible job keeping me organized and making sure I address important issues and questions. And any citizen who has any questions or concerns should call Moss Sela at our Citizen Response Center. Moss will get you an answer quickly. Just call him at 870-1111. I also want to thank our department heads. Chief Dan Spizzarni and Chief Joe Walco do an incredible job leading our 2 most important teams that keep the city safe, the police department and the fire department. Public Works is another important department in serving the public. Dave Mulvihill and Chuck Zisk are outstanding leaders in Public Works. Managing finance is also very important, and Paul Lichtenwalder does a great job of making sure our revenue and our spending are in order. I also want to thank Connie Cook for her fine work running our understaffed human resources group, and to Ed Betza for the clear, logical guidance he and his team provide us on legal matters. My last specific thank you goes to Deb Smith, who is this year became the first African-American woman to run the Department of Economic and Community Development. Deb and her team handled 4 rounds of funding this year and pushed nearly $9 million out into our community. There are many other great city employees doing great work. You'll hear more about some of them later in this presentation. Now, COVID-19 had a huge impact on what we did and learned in 2020. We all missed the personal interaction we enjoyed so much previously, but we learned how much more efficient we can be with virtual meetings. I look forward to being able to do face-to-face meetings later in 2021, but we will also continue the very efficient virtual meetings. The balance of today's presentation is divided into 2 parts. First, we'll review how the implementation of the Activating Our Vision plan is progressing, and second, we'll have highlights of 8 other incredible accomplishments by my team in 2020. As you know, everything my team and I do is based on our mission and vision. The mission is just 6 words: build opportunity, restore hope, transform Erie. Our vision is 2 sentences. Erie is a community of choice. We celebrate our rich cultural diversity, our welcoming, vibrant neighborhoods, our world-class downtown and bayfront, our excellent education for everyone, and our abundance of good family-sustaining jobs. The mission and the vision now sound very good, but they're also very general. That is why on January 9th of 2020, we unveiled this document, our Activating the Vision plan. This document presents 26 specific, measurable, key performance indicators. This is how we are measuring our progress in realizing our vision. My team and I set 21 of these key performance indicators, which we hope to achieve by the end of 2021. We bought into the other 5 objectives which were set by the Erie School District or the Erie Regional Chamber of Commerce Growth Partnership. And completion dates for those 5 are 2024. Next, we will briefly review progress on the 26 key performance indicators. There are 6 key performance indicators for rich cultural diversity. The first is KPI is to hire 26% minorities for all new non-bargaining hires so that our city staff more closely resembles the Erie community. We're making progress on this. For example, since I took office in January of 2018, the Public Works Department has hired 21 full-time employees. I'm proud to say that 7 of those 21 are minorities, which includes 4 African Americans, 2 Bosnians, and 1 person on the spectrum, autism spectrum. That equates to a 33% of minority hiring. The second key performance indicator is to increase the number of minorities taking the police written and physical tests to 15%. Now here's some great news on this one. In 2020, there were 31 minority candidates out of the 96 who took the test. So 32% of those who took the test last year were minorities. We have more than doubled that 15% goal. I can't wait to see the 2021 results. The third rich cultural diversity KPI is to increase the number of minority candidates taking the Erie firefighter written exam and the physical agility test to 15%. From 2017 to 2019, the number of minorities taking this test increased from 15 to 34. That increased the number of minorities taking the fire test to a percentage of 9.8% in 2019. We are making progress, but we still have a ways to go on that goal. The fourth KPI is to attain 26% minority representation for all new appointments to our authorities, boards, and commissions. Renee worked hard last year to create an open, transparent process for appointments to authorities, boards, and commissions. We'll see the results of that this year. The fifth rich cultural diversity KPI is to attain 100 points on the annual Municipality Equality Index. Thanks to much hard work by Renee Lamus and the LGBTQ+ Council, we increased our points from 34 in 2018 to 80 last year. We're gearing up now to take this to 100 points this year. The sixth and last rich cultural diversity KPI is to achieve certified welcoming status from Welcoming America with a minimum score of 91%. Now, we actually achieved this KPI in 2020. I'm proud to say that Erie is now a certified welcoming city. So we have achieved 1 of the 6 rich cultural diversity KPIs already. We'll stay focused on the remaining 5 here in 2021. Here are 5 more accomplishments in 2020 that improved Erie's rich cultural diversity. First, Dr. Paris Baker from Gagnon University, who serves on our SPCP Council, conducted cultural competency training for firefighters and public works employees. Second, Reverend Dr. Richard McCarty from Mercyhurst University, who also serves on the city's LGBTQ+ Council, began diversity and sensitivity training for the Erie Police Department. Now that will continue as soon as COVID-19 is under control. Third, Niken implemented a language access policy so that new Americans can get questions answered and any help they need. We informed new Americans about COVID-19, the 2020 census, and their right to vote by greeting people visiting stores that primarily serve immigrants, refugees, and new Americans. Niken and I continued to attend and speak at all new U.S. citizen ceremonies at the federal courthouse. Next now, let's discuss 7 key performance indicators for the second vision element, welcoming and vibrant neighborhoods. The first KPI is that Erie's population is at least 100,000. Now, Aaron Lonke and Renee Lamus worked with advertising specialist Kevin Seeker and the county to implement a marketing campaign to make the 2020 census as accurate as possible. We reached a lot of people thanks to that effort and look forward to hearing the census results soon. The second neighborhood KPI is that home value disparity between the city and the county shrinks by 10%. So we want to move from 73% up to 83% by 12/31/21. The third neighborhood KPI is that 20 new single-family homes are under construction by 12/31/21. The fourth neighborhood KPI is that open code violations decrease by 10%. We obtained a $200,000 stamp grant with the PA DCED that will help us with this. It's going to help us, first, improve code enforcement technology. Second, increase our ability to track problem properties. And third, resolve outstanding maintenance issues. Our fifth neighborhood KPI is that the number of unsound registered rental properties decreases by 30%. There are currently approximately 138 unsound rental properties in the city. We want to reduce that by 42 by the end of this year, which is 30%. COVID-19 has made accomplishing these last four KPIs very difficult, but we launched several initiatives in 2020, and we will continue to work hard on these through the end of this year. The sixth neighborhood KPI is that there is $50 million in new investment in citywide. Since the new LRTA was implemented on July 3rd, 2019, there have been over $85 million in new commercial and residential investment announced in Erie. We should be very close to tripling this KPI by the end of 2021. The seventh and final KPI on neighborhoods is that we decrease Part 1 police offenses by 4%. Part 1 crimes include rape, robbery, assault, burglary, theft, car theft, arson, and murder. Now, since 2018, Part 1 crimes have declined from 3,633 in 2018 to 3,094 in 2020. That is a 15% decrease, which indicates that Part 1 crimes are declining in aggregate. We want to keep growing that percentage. But we are concerned that we had 11 homicides in 2020. We will keep working on that, but I will not personally be happy until there are no more murders that ever occur in the city of Erie. So we have achieved 2 of the 7 welcoming neighborhood KPIs already. We will continue to work on the remaining 5 the rest of this year. Here are 4 more actions we have taken in 2020 to make our neighborhoods more welcoming and vibrant. First, we have allocated $500,000 in home federal funds to Hands for improvement of their 125 residential units located at the Boston store. The total project cost of this is $7.2 million. Second, we have allocated $740,000 from home funding to the Midtown Revitalization Project for 10 newly constructed apartments to serve households that are below the 50% of median income. Third, we have awarded $75,000 to FARE, that's PHARE funding, to implement a new program to assist low to moderate income homeowners with necessary home improvement, costing up to $3,000. Fourth, we continue to offer the Home Investment Partnership Program, through which homeowners can receive up to $24,999 in first-time homebuyer funds or for home rehab projects. To date, Veronica Fields has assisted 4 homebuyers with grants totaling $42,247.50, and she has also helped 3 homeowners with rehabilitation projects totaling $49,629. Next, Here is how we are doing with the 4 KPIs related to creating a world-class downtown and bayfront. The first key performance indicator here is that at least 100 market rate residential units are under construction. With what EDDC is doing downtown and other developers are doing in our neighborhoods, I believe we are well on our way to achieving this. The second KPI here is that the iconic connection to the bayfront is funded and under construction. We have received about $60 million in funding already to implement the Bayfront Parkway Central Corridor project. Also, City Council has approved PennDOT moving forward with removal of the CSX tracks, and work will begin by the end of this year. The iconic connection will accomplish 3 goals. First, it will slow down traffic using the Bayfront Parkway. Second, make it much easier for pedestrians and bicyclists to access the Bayfront. And third, move crosstown traffic up to 12th Street. And they'll do that by spending $5 million to improve traffic flow on 12th Street and posting signs at the 2 major access points to 12th Street, one on I-79 where it hits West 12th and the other is East Avenue where it hits East 12th. That way drivers can see how long it will take to cross Erie on 12th Street versus the Bayfront Highway. The third key performance indicator for the world-class downtown and Bayfront is that $5 million in investments is committed to the Downtown Streetscape Master Plan. I'm happy to report we have exceeded this goal with $5.8 million already committed to this project. The final key KPI related to the downtown and Bayfront is that 40,000 square feet of new Class A office space is under development by the end of this year. Since more people are now working remotely, along with the Chamber of Commerce, we are reevaluating this KPI. So we have already completed 1 of these KPIs, and the other 3 are moving forward very nicely. The 4th element of our vision is excellent education for everyone. Now, the city is not an educational institution. The first 4 of these KPIs are actually goals of the Erie School District, which we hope to help them complete by 2024. We are doing everything we can to help them achieve these goals. Now, here are those 4 KPIs. First is that 90% of the students achieve a 95% attendance rate. The second is that 100% of the students are participating in our community. The third is that there is a 50% reduction in behavioral incidents involving African American students. Finally, the 4th is that 100% of students graduate from high school. Prior to COVID-19, we attended 90-minute conversations with some of Erie's brightest minds and at-risk students in Erie high school and middle schools. Besides myself, the attendees included Michael Outlaw, District Attorney Jack Erie, members of the SBCP Council, the fire chief, the police chief, and several other officers. Great relationships were built with Erie students in these meetings, and we look forward to continuing them once COVID-19 is under control. The 5th KPI for excellent education for everyone is approval and funding is secured for a bricks and mortar community college, which we would like to have located in downtown Erie. A community college is the only piece of education that our region is lacking right now. The approval has been granted and funding seems to be all in place. We hope that the community college will be able to open soon in downtown Erie. 4 of these excellent education for everyone KPIs are not scheduled for completion until 2024, but there has been very good work taking place on all 5. We look forward to that work accelerating once COVID-19 is under control. Now, the 5th element of our vision is creating an abundance of good family-sustaining jobs. This element has 4 KPIs. The Erie Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership has set a goal for growing the net number of jobs in Erie by 2,000 by 2024. In conjunction with that, and after consultation with James Grunke from the Chamber, we have set a KPI of having a net increase of at least 1,000 new jobs in the city of Erie by 2024. That means we'll have 1,000 more good family-sustaining jobs in Erie by the end of 2024. Now, the next three KPIs are all to be accomplished by the end of 2021. Next is that per capita income in Erie rises by 5%. Our third KPI is that the percentage of employees living and working in Erie increases by 5% of the county total, from 40% last year to 45% by the end of this year. We really want to bring more jobs and people back to Erie. Our final KPI is that at least 25 acres of industrial manufacturing property is identified for redevelopment by the end of 2021. We lose many potential new businesses coming to the Erie area because right now, all available lots require substantial work before the new business can even start to remodel or start to build there. That's why City Council approved an additional $2 million for Chris Groner's Business Development Fund. Chris will use these funds to make currently vacant business sites ready for new business. Much hard work continues to go into the efforts to achieve these four, creating more family-sustaining jobs, KPIs. In summary, 4 of the 21 KPIs are already complete, so we have already achieved 19% of these goals. I look forward to continuing to report the completion of KPIs to you as we move throughout 2021. Now, for the rest of this presentation, I want to review 8 incredible 2020 accomplishments by city workers. First, the most transformative thing we accomplished in 2020 was the formation of the city's first ever planning department. Kathy Rosdick had already written neighborhood plans for the East Bayfront and the Academy Marvintown neighborhoods. On July 30th, we announced formation of the Department of Planning and Neighborhood Resources. No new employees have been added to the city. We formed the new planning department by combining the following departments: code enforcement, zoning, the city arborist, and neighborhood planning and GIS. The biggest impact the planning department will have is to shift the city's approach from being reactive to being proactive in improving Erie's 17 neighborhoods. Second, we took a major step last year towards solving the second of the city's 3 major long-term financial problems by accepting a lease payment of $98.2 million from the Erie Water Authority. As you know, in everything I do, I try to be open, honest, transparent, and accessible. So I will briefly explain how we are utilizing these funds. With City Council's approval, we moved $2.5 million to the general fund so that we would not have to do a tax lien sale. That tax lien sale would have cost the city $250,000 in future revenues. So that leaves $95.7 million. Next, City Council approved moving $3.5 million into the general fund savings account to cover the projected 2020 budget deficit. That left $92.2 million. Now, we thought we'd need that $3.5 million to balance the 2020 budget. But since the deficit was much lower than we expected, and you'll learn more about this in a moment, that money actually lasted much longer and will last much longer than we expect. City Council also approved moving $2 million into the City Business Development Fund to attract more businesses to Erie and increase city revenue. So that leaves $90.2 million in unused funds from the Water Authority. These funds will be used to pay down debt, except for a small amount that we hope to use to balance the budget for the next couple years so that there doesn't have to be any tax increases. These changes not only greatly reduce the city's debt service burden, but it saves the city, on average, $2 million per year in expenses every year for the next 18 years. Our third item was throughout 2020, we talked about how much COVID-19 would severely impact the city's 2020 finances. Initially, we thought that COVID-19 would cause a $3.5 million loss for 2020. But the actual final numbers are much better than expected. I'm very happy to report that the city's net 2020 budget loss was only $515,562. If this pattern continues, we will be able to pay down significantly more millions of dollars in debt than what we had anticipated. Fourth, I got a lot of questions about when City Hall will open. My answer is always the same. City Hall will open when COVID-19 has been brought under control with vaccines. Hopefully, that will happen during the second half of this year. But when we do reopen, we hope City Hall will function much more like the federal and county courthouses do. We are still working out the details on this, and as soon as these decisions are made, we will announce them. Fifth, I'm very proud of the work Abigail Skinner did last year. She acquired 30 grants totaling $5,272,268. That includes 3 RACP grants that totaled $2.5 million. I'm very proud that the Erie Fire Department also received 9 grants. Theirs totaled $1,113,420, and that the Erie Police Department also received 9 grants, totaling $2,169,690. In addition to all that, we received a third installment of $3 million for the upgrade of UPMC Park. Sixth, in December, after months of planning, we became the 21st city in the United States to become a Kiva hub. K-I-V-A, Kiva, is a small business loan program which focuses on making startup loans to women, people of color, immigrants, refugees, and people who have had trouble with the law. This is a needed first step towards starting and growing their businesses. With no fees and no interest on these loans, Kiva will help us expand the city's small business diversity. Now, PNC Bank has already committed $20,000 to Erie's Kiva program. We are in talks to secure more funding through other local banks and organizations. We already have 2 applications in process for Kiva loans and 2 more that are in the beginning stages. You can learn a lot more about Kiva by contacting the City of Erie Business Development Officer, Jennifer Hoffman. Jennifer is running this program, and you can reach her at erie@local.kiva.org. If you want to apply for a Kiva loan, visit kiva.org/borrow. Seventh, after 2 years of planning and study, we have received grants so that all City of Erie uniformed police officers began wearing body cameras. That happened on October 1st of 2020. We also installed car cameras on the 12 frontline vehicles they drive. I'm very happy to say that our police officers have embraced this technology. They believe and see the benefits of wearing body cameras. Since October 1st, our police have responded to 11,571 calls, and they took 7.8 terabytes of evidence and recording. That's a lot of recordings. The video provided great evidence. It showed the illegal actions, suspects resisting arrest, and officers engaged in heroic actions such as providing first aid and CPR to individuals and comforting the victims of crime. There is much, much more I could talk about. But the last topic for today is an initiative that is transforming law enforcement in Erie. It's the Police Athletic League. In the last 3 years, this initiative has grown from being at one school 1 day a week with involvement of 7 to 8 officers to a crew of 68 police officers who participate in after-school programs with students at 6 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and several neighborhood centers. Approximately 600 youth are interacting with police officers and building trust with them. Sergeant Tom Lennox leads the Police Athletic League. This summer, we obtained a grant to pay Sergeant Lennox's salary and benefits for the next 2 years, so he can work full-time on growing the Police Athletic League and on police recruitment. I have been supportive of the program since witnessing its first summer camp in the summer of 2017. There was about 58 students participating. We're very happy that Gannon University graciously hosts this 1-week summer camp right on their campus. By 2019, we welcomed 300 students to Gannon, all of whom, every one of those 300 students, received a brand new bike at the end of the camp. COVID-19 presented challenges to the Police Athletic League in 2020, but I had an incredible experience with the Police Athletic League in December. Tom Lennox asked me if I'd like to go along with him and 4 other police officers as they delivered Christmas presents to children in the PAL program, and these children all lived on Erie's Lower East Side. What I saw blew me away. The relationship between these children and the police officers was incredible. Everyone wore a mask, but the children were so excited to see the police, they had to hug every one of the 5 police officers. These relationships were very real. I could see that. I could also see the wonder in the eyes of the parents as they witnessed this going on. Sergeant Lennox and the other Police Athletic League officers are taking steps that will truly transform Erie in the years ahead. I simply do not have enough time today to present to you all of the incredible work being done by city employees. But over the next several months, my team and I will be sharing many, many more stories and accomplishments with you during our weekly press conferences and on social media. And remember, everything you do is governed by our mission. Build opportunity, restore hope, let's transform Erie.